This is part 3 of a multi-part series, and I recommend that you watch the previous editions before watching this one. After reuniting with what was left of the Ghost Crew and finding an unlikely ally in that of Maul, Ahsoka Tano has gotten to see firsthand that her actions of killing Darth Vader have terrible consequences, with much of the galaxy in fear of the Empire. What remained of the rebellion retreated to every corner of the galaxy, but not to hide, to plan. While watching from the shadows, it has discovered that Palpatine will be attending an Empire Day celebration on the world of Lothal, but not to take part with the festivities. His reasoning for being there was to investigate the phenomena known as the World Between Worlds. Ezra had already made use of it to bring Ahsoka Tano to safety from the collapsing Temple of Malachor just moments after she had slain Vader. Now the rebellion prepares what will be the most dangerous mission to date. They hope to catch the Empire and the Emperor off guard and bring an end to the evil regime. The plan has been laid out by Mon Mothma herself. Admiral Akbar will lead a space assault, but would have to contend with the Grand Admiral of the Imperial Fleet, Thrawn. While that battle ensued, rebel forces on the ground will begin their assault, giving enough time for Ahsoka and Maul to find the Emperor and hopefully bring an end to him. As the official beginning of the Empire Day came closer, the individuals that would make up the ground forces made landfall on Lothal. They met up with who would be their mission leaders, and Captain Rex was ecstatic at what he saw. Among the rebels that stepped off the ships were two grizzled individuals that looked like him. They were his brothers, Gregor and Wolf. Rex ran to the pair, asking how Mothma convinced them to join the mission, and both stated that it gave them a chance to right the wrongs that happened during Order 66. And they couldn't pass up the opportunity to fight alongside each other one more time. Rex turned to Ahsoka, who had a smile on her face to see Rex reunited with his brothers. The moment was short-lived as Hera Syndulla informed Rex that he was to command the troops on the ground. Rex was confused as he believed Hera was to lead the assault, but she had decided that her skills were to be best used in space as she stepped aboard the Ghost, preparing it for combat. While the rebels prepared, elsewhere, Grand Admiral Thrawn stood in the bridge of his Star Destroyer, the Chimera, his focus dedicated to the star chart that showed the space around Lothal. His red eyes pierced the map as the communication patched through. It was Governor Price of Lothal who had established the link. She informed the Grand Admiral that all standard measures had been made to prepare for the celebration, and Thrawn congratulated the governor on her efforts, but ordered her to place more troops along the path to the Jedi Temple, to which Price was baffled. She had no idea why troops were needed there, as the parade route was to be nowhere near the temple. Thrawn assured her that the move was necessary. As the communication crackled out, Thrawn turned to a large holotable behind him to activate a communication with his personal bodyguard, Rook. The gray-skinned individual appeared before Thrawn as Rook asked his mission. Thrawn was very simple with his orders: follow Palpatine and keep to the shadows. There was a confidence that gleamed within the Grand Admiral, but with his demeanor, it was extremely subtle. He had an ironclad plan to make sure the operation on Lothal went without a hitch. A few hours have now passed on Lothal, and Imperial walkers have lined the streets. As crowds gather, some celebrated while others just watched as attendance was mandatory. As Empire Day started, Thrawn's Chimera and accompanying fleet gathered above the planet. Thrawn called for the Star Destroyers to take a defensive position, not opting to explain why to his fellow Imperials. As the destroyers moved into position, a shuttle launched from the hangar beneath Thrawn's destroyer, which was carrying the Emperor himself to the world. The rebels watched from a distance as fireworks shot from the city, but that did nothing for the tension that grew within the rebels. Everyone that was accounted for the battle included names like Ahsoka, Ezra, Maul, Rex, Gregor, Wolf, Kallus, and much more, but that didn't faze anyone. Hera waited in the Ghost for a signal as the comm system patched through with a code.
This is Captain Hilaga, serving on the Radis. We have made contact. Repeat, we have made contact.
With that code, the rebel fleet arrived from hyperspace, but the Imperial fleet was more than prepared. A fight erupted as the rebel forces on the ground engaged the Empire. People ran for shelter as troops crowded the area. Maul and Ahsoka made way for the Jedi Temple, but Ezra found himself wanting to help the pair. He trailed behind them as the battle intensified on the ground and in space. In the orbit, Thrawn watched as his forces clashed with rebels. His TIE defenders were on full display as they ripped through the X-Wing fighters that supported the rebel fleet. Thrawn marked every detail and adjusted his battle plan accordingly. But there was something that Thrawn wasn't expecting, which was how desperate the rebels actually were. A squadron of Ring bombers were able to punch through the defensive line and disable the destroyer. The engine shut off and it drifted, even bumping into another destroyer. Just as it looked as though Thrawn looked worried, he called for a precision strike on one of the Mon Cala command ships, shifting the tide in his favor. Back on the surface, as the battle raged on in the city, Ahsoka and Maul were able to sneak past the Imperial defenses and make their way to the temple. For Ahsoka, the feeling of the temple was much different from earlier days. She could sense the powerful presence of Palpatine lurking, but continued to follow Maul through the temple halls. Ezra still followed. Once he saw the appearance of the temple, he tried the same, but was cut off by the personal bodyguard of Thrawn, Rook. To Ezra's surprise, Rook called in reinforcements that were prepared to kill the Jedi. TIE transports flew in, launching shots that Ezra dodged, all the while he fended off Rook. But they managed to strike the temple. Within the halls, debris fell, separating Ahsoka from Maul, and the former Sith didn't let the separation stop him from confronting the Emperor. This was part 3 of What If Ahsoka Tano Killed Darth Vader. Stay tuned as part 4 will be coming soon. Feel free to check out the other What If series for the channel by clicking on the corresponding link in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for a series, put them in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Marauders Guild and ring the bell to get notified about whenever we upload. Until the next time, may the force of others be with you.